Hey everybody, Deplorable Bobby here. This is the way I see it. I'd like to thank my subscribers. I ask you to hit the bell icon so you'll be notified when I do a video or go live. Sometimes. I'd also like you to leave a like and a comment. My PayPal information is in the link below if you'd like to contribute to this channel. Any contribution is greatly appreciated. I want to start today with something good. Finally, I can bring you a little good news. If you remember last week, I did a video on a British judge who ordered a 22-week pregnant woman with mental disabilities to undergo an abortion. Justice Natalie Levine ordered an abortion to be performed on a mentally ill, handicapped woman, despite objections from the woman and her mother, as well as her caseworker at Department of Family and Children's Services. Well, I got really good news for you. The judge that ordered that woman to have an abortion has had her ruling overturned. And now, another abortion has been stopped. It was wrong in the first place for this judge to intrude in this woman's life and to order her to have an abortion. And her reasoning was she would think of a child as she would a new doll. Well, people, that judge went above and beyond her ability to rule, and she was overturned. So it looks like this woman in Britain who is mentally handicapped is going to be able to have that baby. And her mother, who was a midwife for years, has promised to help raise that child. I think it's fantastic news. Anytime an abortion is stopped, it's always great news. Today I want to talk a little bit about a man in my home state. He's from Savannah, Georgia. 25-year-old ex-police officer Jeffrey Allen Aldman faces substantial prison time after his conviction in federal court for luring teens to meet him for sex. This was a police officer, people. I've been telling you this all along. You can't trust anybody. A federal jury convicted Allman on one count of coercion and enticement of a minor. They should have got him on 6 counts, but they only got him on 1. Allman faces a mandatory minimum sentence of 10 years to life. And as a side note, there is no parole in federal prison. So whatever time he gets, that's the time he's going to serve. And amen to that. Allman, while a police officer, met 2 girls, ages 15 and 16. He met them on the Tinder app, whatever that is. I guess it's a dating app for people of tender age, but it was the Tinder app that he found these girls on. Allman then communicated with the girls through Snapchat, and he arranged to pick them up in the middle of the night outside the gate of Fort Stewart, where the girls lived on post with their parents. Allman drove the girls to his apartment, where he engaged in sex acts with both teens. He had 2 more encounters with the girl until his perversion was found out. The Richmond Hill Police Department fired Allman immediately after charges were filed by the U.S. Army Criminal Division, which is called CID. They provided information leading to an investigation that led to the arrest of Allman. The court said this repugnant crime victimizes the children of active duty personnel while disregarding the badge of law enforcement. See, this guy, he didn't only go against our military families. He went against God, and he went against his badge. He went against everything he ever stood for. His oath meant absolutely nothing because he took an oath to protect and serve. People, police officers like this need to be gone. They need to be locked away in prison, and we need to get them off the streets and out of our police departments. Hard time in federal prison awaits those who engage in such despicable behavior. The law enforcement officer violated his oath of office by preying on minors he swore to protect. No one is above the law, and the protection of innocent victims should be a priority everywhere. Not just in Georgia, but everywhere. Protecting our children should always be the priority in our lives. I've told you many times, people, you never know who these pedophiles and these child predators are. Sometimes when you find out who they are, it's too late. The damage has already been done. So people, keep an eye on who your children are with. Make sure they're not sneaking out in the middle of the night to meet a grown man for sex. People, I don't understand it. I know that kids are maturing earlier and earlier these days, but you know, I don't understand what could motivate these young teenagers to get out of their bed in the middle of the night and sneak out of the house and go meet a man for sex at 15 and 16 years old. What causes that? I mean, are they just sexually active? I mean, they're young. And I realize girls mature earlier and earlier all the time. I remember my little sister, bless her heart, God rest her soul. I remember when she was a young girl, and we're talking back in the early 60s, maybe the middle 60s. But she got to where she was sneaking out of the house. Excuse me. But as far as we know, she didn't sneak out to meet boys. She just snuck out to meet her little friends that lived up the road. And I don't know what they did, but she was always back home before Mom and Dad got up. I guess I was the only one that knew that she was sneaking out at night. But people, that's just the way it is. Our kids are having sex earlier and earlier, and they need to be aware of what they're doing. I don't think some of these girls certainly are not mentally prepared to make the decisions that they're making when it comes to having sex with grown men behind their parents' back. So people, pray for these two girls. They certainly need God in their life. So pray for these girls that they'll find Christ and change their ways and live a good life. It breaks my heart to know that these young girls and boys are having sex at such an early age. People, I could tell you horror stories of young kids, 10, 11, 12, having sex. And I don't care who you are, it's not right. Any child under the age of adulthood cannot consent to consensual sex. So in my opinion, anyone who has sex with a child or molest a child is just that. They're a molester, they're a predator, and they're a child abuser. People exploiting these girls is all these predators care about. But I want to tell you a story about an old man. He's older than me, thank God. Gives me hope I might live a little longer. But this piece of crap, 71 years old, Harvey Fountain, he was arrested on 50 counts of first-degree rape. 3 days after his arrest, new charges were filed. 50 more counts. So now this Harvey Fountain has been charged with 100 rape crimes. First degree rape, 100 counts, 100 charges. The assaults happened in Pineville, Louisiana. And get this, people, this is a true pedophile. All of the children that he molested and raped were under 13 years old. The decades-old accusations came to light when one victim disclosed the abuse to a local police officer. This was years after the abuse, or after her abuse anyway. I imagine he continued to abuse up through the years, but she was one that was abused years ago. But you know, she came forward after she said she was aware of other victims of this man, Harvey Fountain. Additional victims were located, and many more were interviewed. Under Louisiana law, the victim, if she's under 13, it means that any type of sexual intercourse constitutes first-degree rape. Man, I'll tell you what. And this state has no limitations for rape in Louisiana. People, how can a man do this to children if he is not Satan-possessed and evil to his heart? People, this is a sad story. 71 years old. Raped over 100 times little girls. He raped little girls over 100 times. People, this guy needs to be behind bars and he needs to be dead. How cruel. And how many years did he get away with this? How many victims does he really have? You know, a lot of victims, that they just won't come forward. But they've got 100 who did. How many more are there? How many more victims of this animal are still out there? It's a crying shame, people. This demon ruined the lives of many young girls under the age of 13. You know, Fountain was formerly charged with 100 counts of rape on numerous victims. Fountain is being held on $1 million bail, and as of today, he has not made bail. People, I'm so happy that that young lady in Britain does not have to have an abortion just because she's mentally handicapped. People, the judge that told her that she had to have an abortion, and she made it an order. Thank God that the abortion had not yet been performed when this girl's mother and her attorney went before another judge and had the first judge overturned. I appreciate you, Judge. I want to thank you for saving a preborn life. It's easy to see that you have a heart, and most likely you believe in the living God. And that's what we need behind our benches today in courts. We need people who are patriotic Americans. It doesn't matter, or it shouldn't matter, if you're an independent Democrat or a Republican. Once you go onto a judicial bench, your politics, your personal feelings, everything that pertains to you should not be used to adjudicate a case. I know that a lot of times you have to go on your gut feeling. But people, these judges are making case law and ordering people to do things against their will. I can understand. You know, if you're an abuser or something like that, I can understand a judge slapping an order on you, you know, to have no contact with that person. I can understand judges doing a lot of stuff from the bench, but to adjudicate that this woman, 22 weeks pregnant, had to undergo an abortion. It was wrong. It was simply wrong. And thank God, Judge Levine's first ruling has been overturned. So thank God for that. People, I don't want to go too long. My name's Deplorable Bobby, and this is the way I see it. Pray for our preborn children. Pray for the exploited and the trafficked and the abused, the sexually abused. People, our children certainly are the least, the last, and the lost when it comes to society. So we need to pray. Pray hard for these children. Pray for each other. Pray for Michelle, that forbidden information, and I, that we'll succeed in our quest to go to D.C. to talk to senators and congressmen. And maybe if we don't get to meet with them, we can meet with some of their aides. But we're going to be talking to people the whole time we're there. So people, if you want to support Michelle and I, every contribution will be greatly appreciated. And we're saving and stockpiling every penny we get, because this is going to be an expensive trip, and neither her nor I on fixed incomes can really afford to take a trip. But we're going to do our best, and we're counting on y'all to help us get there. People, I'm not begging for money. If you don't have anything to contribute, please just keep watching. Hit the like button. Leave comments. Because I'll tell you, people, I can expect nothing from my subscribers more than you subscribe and view my channel. I'm grateful to each and every one of you. But if you want to help support Michelle and I, and help get us to D.C., where we can try to be a voice for the voiceless, and maybe get some hard answers to the hard questions. Pray for each other. I'm Deplorable Bobby. This is the way I see it. Y'all have a great day.